O'Neill Outside is presented by CVA. It's just a better gun.
Hello again, everyone. I'm O'Neill Williams. Welcome to our program. You better hold on tight. There's a lot of action in today's program. Travis is going to use a bow, and then we use a traditional CVA muzzle-loading rifle, and it's all in one program. Turkey, turkeys, and deer. Hold on now. Don't leave and go anywhere. It's today on O'Neill Outside. We've been in the blind now just almost an hour. Two hens came through, and lo and behold, without a single sound, comes a nice long beard. Walked right through the food plot. He crossed the creek and went up the other side. Could I have shot him? Yes, I could. Just something about that's the first ones I've seen. And I may be a real knucklehead. I just didn't want to shoot the very first one I've seen. I want this hunt to last a little longer than 20 minutes. We heard the first gobbler at 7:30, and he walked in at 10 minutes till 8. So let's just hunker down, wait it out. If another one comes in, okay, I'll shoot it. If it doesn't, that's okay too. And will a gobbler cross the creek? He sure did.
O'Neill Outside is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops, your local Toyota dealer, Rockwell Tools, the Whitetail Institute of North America, the Game Saver Food Saver, Realtree Camo, Bojangles, and Conus Optics.
Tree line up over the other side of the creek. I hadn't heard a single thing. It's about 80 yards. One in front with a long beard. Unless I knocked him in the creek, I missed him.
Now, let's join O'Neill for this week's Big Green Egg Wild Game and Fish recipe.
Here's a great idea for the springtime turkey you took. Ground turkey. This is called buffalo turkey burgers. Then your chili sauce. You don't mind, do you? Breadcrumbs, milk, salt, some blue cheese crumbles. Sounds good already, doesn't it? And some garlic. How can you go wrong? Let me mix this up. And I'll show you how we'll put it on the Big Green Egg. It's kind of neat. You're gonna love this stuff. My migrant turkey crew is gonna eat this without a doubt. I probably won't get any. This was only about 2 pounds of ground turkey, but it made 4 burgers. Now, 2 things to tell you about. If you're not a hunter and you don't have ground turkey, you can buy it at the grocery store. And the second thing is, it makes this really special. Note, cooking on the cast iron grid. Of course, all eggheads know about this sort of thing. He makes some nice black marks on it and it'll cook up so nicely. One of the things about this recipe that you may not have thought of is the crumbles of blue cheese. Ooh. Won't take long. Buffalo turkey burgers. Want the recipe? O'NeillOutside.com, BigGreenEgg.com. Big Green Egg, the ultimate cooking experience. The CONUS hunting tip of the week is a kind of a contrary one. I hope you'll excuse me, but we all love to hear ourselves call. We call turkeys, we call coyotes. We love the sound of our calls, even deer hunting. And I have seen people in the woods and heard descriptions about, I saw a big buck over at the edge of the field and I grunted and he didn't come in, he left. If you see him already, stop calling. We all call entirely too much. Deer very seldom call. And it's a mistake for you to fall in love with that grunt call. And that is your CONUS tip of the week.
Let's recap. O'Neill passed up a shot on the first tom that came in. Then, a few minutes later, he missed big time when a larger tom came into range. So O'Neill had no choice but to come out of the woods and sight that muzzle loader in.
Okay, I'll be right back. Here's my little makeshift target. That's the hole I drew. About the size of a turkey. He's supposed to draw feathers. I missed everything. I had a good rest. Evidently it was about a week ago and my gun was leaning up against, I was repacking, gun was leaning up against my desk. And we're moving and things like that, and I knocked it off and it fell over on the floor. I didn't get home till about 8 o'clock last night, and it was pouring down rain, so I didn't get a chance to sight in, and cost me a bird. I'm gonna move this in closer and get resighted. Okay, I've walked it in. Look, the first 2 shots were out here somewhere, and then I walked it all the way in, and there's my last shot. So I'm good now. As you can see, it took me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shots. Here comes Travis. Let's see what he's got. I'm trying to sight in, man. I was way off.
If I change over and start shooting a bow, then
when I knocked the gun over the other day in the office when I was carrying that stuff and I hit it and knocked it over on the floor, evidently it knocked the scope off. I was off at 15 yards. I was off 8 inches. So that means at 100, I was off 4 feet.
Oh, every bit of it. Well,
So I missed.
Look, the bow was not off at 15 yards.
Let's see what you got. What do you have here, sir? Good for you.
You looking for one of those?
You betcha. Oh yeah, you betcha.
He was roosted like 20 or 30 yards behind the blind, and we got in. It was daylight. I started putting the decoy up. I looked up. I said, "Uh-oh." There was 15 birds looking at me, and they just flew down and walked right in. I shot him at 7:15.
No kidding.
I was done. I just stayed in there waiting on to hear if you shot or not. I didn't want to foul you up, but he walked in. There was I saw 2 of the biggest jakes I've ever seen. I thought they were full-grown toms with beard rot.
Look at that, boy. They're pretty, aren't they?
Let's go back and see how Travis got his gobbler.
5 minutes in the stand. We came in, set up the decoys. I look up and there's like 10 or 15 birds I can see behind the blind. Man, I tell you what, I didn't know how good a morning this was gonna be. We got here, we're in Oglethorpe County, Georgia. It was 39 degrees. 39 degrees and the wind blowing 35 miles an hour. There's what it felt like. It was probably 20 or something like that. I thought the birds were gonna be blown out of the tree. My blind was gonna be gone, everything. But look, it happened 5 minutes. I mean, we sat there 10 minutes at the most. Got in, went to put out the decoys, and I looked up. My cameraman Dakota was getting in the blind. I looked up, I said, oh man, this is not good. There was like 10 turkeys in the tree right behind the blind. How we didn't spook them, I don't know, because they were looking right at me. Look at that. That's not too shabby. Good beard on him. I thought the other two birds that were with him, they wound up being jakes. I thought they were full-grown toms. I've never seen a jake that big. That right there is a pretty bird. Pretty bird. Look at it. Look at that. That's what it's about right there. Beautiful. Ow, and I just stabbed myself with a broadhead.
There's more O'Neill Outside coming up. But first, let's thank our sponsors. Year One, Georgia Power, Bug Band Repellent, Solar Bat Signature Sunglasses, Southern Link Wireless, Hodgdon Powder, O'Neill Outside Spices and Seasonings, and ExploreGeorgia.org, the official Georgia tourism and travel site.
Time for the CVA guest book this week from David Watson in Garner, North Carolina. Very simply, what type of powder and how much do you use in your CVA muzzleloader? I use 100 grains probably 95% of the time. I use two 50-grain pellets. Well, and people will say a pellet doesn't burn as fast or as hot. Not so much that you can tell. This way and that way, I'm always at exactly 100 grains, and I don't feel like I need to use more than that. It's Hodgdon powder. It's reliable and dependable, and it's long-term usage. It's never failed me. If you'd like to be awarded a CVA muzzleloader, go to o'neilloutside.com. Right on the homepage, the CVA guest book. If you use your comment on the air, CVA will send you the muzzleloader.
You will notice in a few minutes that I'm in exactly the same place I was early this morning when I missed that one. I'm going to sit out front this time. I'm in the same spot. I'm going to put out decoys this afternoon. I expect it to be another drove of turkeys. Even if it's the same one, listen, they don't know what. I pulled the trigger and I shot one and it startled them. But, you know, I sat there for a few minutes. They don't associate that with a person. They don't know what a shot is. They just know that something happened, and they probably already forgotten it. If the hens come back, there'll be gobblers following them. Now, number two, I am using a muzzleloader. It's legal in Georgia to use a muzzleloader. I'm using a 50 caliber muzzleloader with a scope. Now, where you hunt, you may not be able to do that, but you certainly can in Georgia. I'm sighted in now, so if one comes out in that food plot, if I miss, it's not the gun's fault. It's O'Neill's. Okay, there's two hens across the creek about 1 o'clock right over the decoys. Three. Yeah, there's three. Okay, there's first gobbler. If it's three gobblers, it's the one I missed this morning. One that's to the far right, going out there by himself. whistle. Okay, now the thing to do is just sit still and let him leave. Okay, he's never moved a feather. I didn't answer a single call. How about that? 50 caliber Apex, I shot him at 40 yards. And let's see about that beard. Where are you, beard? Where are you, beard? I shot the beard off. Look, look, here's the beard back here. Now, I've never done that. Look at there, I shot the beard right off, a big 10-inch beard. Well, 9-inch. And he's got nice spurs. That's about a 3-year-old bird. Think about muzzle loading for your turkey. It'll work out for you. And just like my old friend Roscoe Reams, my very favorite turkey hunter, said, and it was so demonstrated by today, this morning when I missed and we came back to the same group of turkeys, the same drove, patience kills turkeys. Absolutely. I'm going to take this breast out and we'll cook it on the big green egg. Before I leave you today, I want to show you just a little bit of a trip I took last year to the central part of Texas, the hill country. Man, that place is beautiful. And I was on one of those big time ranches with great big deer. But that's quite frankly not my style. I took what you might call a resident buck, a management buck. The hill country deer are not big naturally, but I was proud to take this one, and that CVA nitride, it really packs a wallop. Just watch. We've located a little meadow. It's rained here in Texas lately. It's just 3 days ago, and there's a lot of new grass. And our guide, Marty, located the meadow with some new grass growth, and there are a lot of does in there, and we expect the bucks to follow them. Remember, during the rut, you go where the does are. The bucks will find them, and we will find the bucks. It's late afternoon. Remember, stick to the basics. Hunt high in the morning and low in the afternoon. The air currents are going to be flowing right. They're coming in right now, so we're safe. So that's the setup. The does are already there. Keep a lookout. Okay, what do you think? Go. Well, patience pays off. My assignment this afternoon was to take a cull buck, a buck that needed to go, that did not need to be a part of the breeding here on the ranch. And right at the last minute, with maybe 2 minutes left, no sound on our microphones, the batteries are dead, and he walks in within about 60 yards, and it's another CVA, muzzleloader buck. I'm very fortunate to get to visit Texas and hunt this way with great guides, great partners, and a beautiful landscape here in the hill country of Texas. I understand, because I haven't hunted here but once or twice more. This is a typical hill country whitetail. In the hill country, and what does that mean? A little sort of a basket rack, 8 or 9 points, and they're pencil thin. So this is a typical hill country whitetail from Texas. It's about 60 yards. I was using 50 caliber MR, the mountain rifle, with a nitride barrel. It's always a great trip to Texas. I always enjoy it, and I always get some great hunts out of it. Sure, you should give it a try. Closed captioning for O'Neill Outside is brought to you by Timbuktu Outdoors, making fishing and hunting convenient
and ever more successful.